So, oh wait.
Like, me and my ADC are just not on the same page. I'm trying to play War of Attrition. She's trying to go ham as fuck. Because they picked Kayle ADC. This Kayle is like griefing. It's the freest one of my life.
It's so free because Kayle is
so
a melee
free,
champion.
and she's like pushing and pushing and pushing, and I'm like, freeze, freeze, freeze.
All right, so we'll take a
but
look.
Yeah, I hard commit to stuff I shouldn't. It's very strange. I think where I'm gonna gain most of my learning in this game is probably mid game, but we'll see. Cool. You might disagree.
I just wanna. Nice. Okay.
So I'm aware Vi is pathing bot, and that we need to stop shoving and bounce it, but she is bloodthirsty.
Well, this is wave 3, right? So.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about do you know what happens if we bounce this wave? We can't.
This exact wave.
Already we can't because there's a minion dead. But let's imagine that there's another minion here and that we can bounce this wave into us. What happens? So like
we need to crash 2, right? For it to meet back in neutral.
Right. But I mean, like, if we go straight to bouncing this right now, like, because this will push into us. We could let it push into us right now, but there's a reason that we don't do this. So what will happen if we let this push into us right now?
Because there's 2 melees and 3... Actually, I have no idea.
We can't.
I have no idea.
We can't because of that. So you're somewhat right. Like, we can't bounce it right now because there's a creep dead, so this won't bounce into us. But if we, if we didn't kill this creep, we could let this wave bounce into us. The problem is, because, like, in our 2v2 blueprint, it's like push first wave slow, level 2 spike, ward on the second wave, like crash on 2. Wait, so it's like get prio, level 2 spike, ward on, crash on 2, ward on second wave, and then recrash wave 3. So this is wave 3.
Yes.
So I want you to recrash wave 3, and I want us to understand why.
Yes.
If I yes, enemy jungler's pathing down, my jungler's pathing up. So I want the wave to be frozen on Vi's gank timer, right? I want the wave to be coming towards me on Vi's gank timer. That's true. But if we let this push into us right now, the problem is the next wave. It's not actually this one. So let's think about what happens if we just let this push into us. It'll push into us, right? That means that more of our minions are going to be dead than the enemy minions. Now, this pushes into us. The wave will like shift forward a little bit. It'll be like over here when the next wave comes, right? So the next waves will meet over here somewhere. This is wave 4. So it will be like freezing on wave 4. The problem is when we're freezing, it means that the enemy has more minions than us, right? So that means that there's XP on the map that I haven't absorbed yet, right?
Oh, of course.
So wave 4 is the wave that you hit level 3. So if we try to hold this freeze on wave 4, these guys hit level 3 first. We're level 2. So now they can just kind of brute force the wave in our face, and we can't really stop them. Because the only way to stop them is to fight them, but we can't fight them when we're a level down because they're up 1,200 gold on us from the level spike, right?
Yeah.
So, that's why, no matter what, every single game, no matter what we want to do with the wave, ideally we want, like, or what our champions are, or what our matchup is, or whatever, this is what we want to do every game, on every champ. We want to recrash on wave 3.
Why we recrash. It's so huge. I totally get it now. We need to get that XP, or we're just losing the advantage we got.
The next one pushes into us instead. So instead of like 3 slow pushing and then we freeze on 4, we crash 3, 4 slow pushes, and then 5 is the freeze wave. But on the wave 5, we're both level 3 already. So we can actually meaningfully hold this freeze and like fight the enemy and stuff like that. And then it's the same kind of concept as like, so I want to play, there's 2 avenues we have here. Both of them involve the wave 3 crash, right? Because we want to crash, say like I want to play War of Attrition. Well, if I want that, I want the wave to be in the middle, right? If I want the wave to be in the middle, then I need to re-crash this wave because it's like, it's not in the middle right now, it's on their side. So I re-crash this wave, That will cause all my minions to die. The next wave goes into neutral, and now I can start doing my War of Attrition, punishing last hit stuff with minions dying in the center of the lane, right? But if I want to freeze, then I recrash this wave and let the next one bounce into me so that I can actually hold the freeze and they're not a level up, right? So regardless of my next decision, whether I want to crash and then let the wave be in neutral, or I want to let the wave push into me and then hold a freeze, like, because those are our two options basically. Regardless of that, we want to recrash 3 on both of those, right?
Yes.
So now there's a bit of a problem. Now in this game, there is no problem because one, Kayle is really low. And when the enemy is really low, it gives you more control over the wave state. But then 2, we're playing Velkoz. So we have this W spell, which lets you push the wave fast, right? The problem is we can't, like, imagine Kayle has a ranged auto attack, right? I can't really stop enemy Kayle from walking up and hitting this wave here because it's so close to their tower, right? If Kayle is full HP and this is an ADC, right? Even if she's not full HP, if she's like a little bit chunked, but she's not so low that I can just like run at her and kill her and zone her off of the wave, right? Then Kayle is like really safe to influence the wave here because she's so close to her tower. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the problem with recrashing 3. We're not going to be able to perfectly recrash the third wave every game. It's going to get a little funky in some of the games, depending on, you know, champ matchup, because they could have like a lot of wave clear. And then when you're smashing the wave, they smash it back and it gets stuck here, right? Or they could just be like so healthy that you can't really push them off. And they just like, while you hit it, they full hit it and it gets stuck here. So now what I want us to think about now is what happens in that situation. Because I want you to be prepared when this happens. Because it will happen. There will be some games where we can't recrash 3.
My biggest fear was we get stuck in the freeze here. And I wasn't considering, despite having like a bajillion mastery on Kayle, I wasn't considering the fact that she can't freeze here. My brain
she's a melee champ.
To autopilot. Like, if we freeze here, Vi comes down through try and we get like one shot. So I wasn't considering the matchup for a second. So in reality, like, we have complete control right now, and I'm panicking about Vi for no reason.
So we can crash this for free, and then ideally we already have a ward because you want to ward on the second wave specifically. Now, if we know the enemy jungler is pathing down, like we saw her start this buff, you can actually ward on the third wave instead, and it's fine. You only need the ward on the second wave specifically if we don't know where the enemy jungler started. But if we know, or if we know that they started bot side, then we need the ward on the second wave. But if we know they started top side and they're coming down, then you can ward on third wave instead. So yeah, what we should do right now is
to ward on wave 2, and I got caught up in the poke, and I was like, "Hey man, I've missed my chance to ward."
Yeah, it happens. And then what I want you to understand is that if Vi starts bot side, and then you crash this wave, and then you walk up and put a ward down, Vi could be in this bush. That's why we ward on the second wave instead, because no matter how Vi can't finish, no matter who she is, maybe if she's like Shaco and she does some really fast, funky clear, they could be in here. But for the most part, like 99.99% of the games, if you just crash on 2 and then ward, no jungler should ever be in the bush. Or they could be in the bush, but they're going to be level 2. They won't be level 3, right? They'll only be level 2 because they need 3 camps to hit level 3. Okay. So the next thing I want us to understand is like what happens if this wave gets stuck here. So another thing I want us to discuss is I think you are saying freeze sometimes when it's not frozen. So
I should be saying slow push, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Like this slow pushes into you. It is not a freeze for either side.
Yes.
It's on their side, right? So it feels like the wave is quote unquote frozen because it's like stuck outside of their tower, but this will push into you eventually when it's on their side like this. If these 2 minions were dead and we had 3 more minions than them, then it is a freeze. It's based on the minion counts. But so it's kind of a little scuffed because we are -1 right now, right? We are -1. So it is a bit of a freeze, but in order for it to be a real freeze, we need to be -3 here. at least, and then ideally -4 creeps. So it'd be literally like 2 melees versus our 6 creeps, and that's how it would be like a really strong freeze for them. But obviously, if it was only 2 melees here and we had 6 creeps, we could just kill them and then crash, right? So the bigger our minion advantage on the freeze is, the easier it is to get it in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want us, the last thing we're going to talk about before we start playing this out and looking at the game a little bit more is I want us to understand like what to do in this situation when the wave is slow pushing into us, right? It's slow pushing into us. So if I let it slow push into me, next wave will freeze over here, right? I will have like 3 to 4 more minions or whatever, or like they will have 3 to 4 more minions. So it will be a freeze on my side, which means freezing means that if I manage the wave properly and the enemy doesn't interact with the wave, I could keep this here for multiple waves. That's why it's frozen, because the wave is just stuck here, right? But right now, because this wave is even, this is not stuck here. It's slow pushing into you. So what I want to do is recrash, because if I let it slow push into me now, when I hold the freeze, the enemy will be level 3 and I'm not, right?
Yeah.
So I want to recrash. So let's say Kayle like hits this a bunch and it gets stuck here for 1 wave and we get stuck in this like awkward spot, right? What happens now? It's actually fine. It feels scary, but it's actually fine. And the reason that it's fine is that if the wave is stuck here and it's even, remember, it slow pushes into us. And it's not that we don't want the wave to slow push into us. It's that we don't want it to slow push into us right now, right? Because if it does it right now, then my freeze gets ruined. But if the wave is stuck here for 1 wave and it's even, then I could just stop hitting it and let it push into me, right? Because now instead of 3 and then the freeze wave being 4 and they hit the level timer here, right? Now, you know, it was 3 and then it got stuck here again for 4, which means that if I let it push into me on 4, 5 is my freeze wave and they don't hit level 3 here. We're the same level, so I can play the game, because they don't have a level up on me, right? So what we want to do is recrash this, and then if they hold it here, don't panic. Just stop hitting it and let it push into you now, and it's so fine. It's super fine to do this. And I also want you to understand that in the war of attrition, this isn't a thing that we normally want to do. Let the wave push into us when we're winning, right? But the reason that we can do this in this game is what you mentioned earlier. Vi is pathing down, my jungler is pathing away. Right?
Yeah.
So I just want to be safe on Vi's gank timer. I don't want to play under the like really aggressively under these guys' tower and then die to the Vi gank. Now, there's a bit of a special scenario here. I don't want to overwhelm us too much, but you know, circumstances change in this game all the time, and the most important thing that changes circumstances in this game is like positioning of your teammates and then health bars. So even though Briar is top, and then her positioning means that maybe we want to hold the freeze, because Kayle is so low, and the fact that Kayle, Senna are just like really low threat champions, we actually can in this lane just elect to keep playing War of Attrition here. We don't have to hold the freeze. So I want you to understand that in this matchup, in this specific screenshot, not like this matchup in general, right?
Yeah, it's just like 1 in a million game.
Right. When Kayle ADC half HP in this situation, we can just crash this, let the next wave meet neutral, and just play War of Attrition from here, as long as we have a ward, and we shouldn't be killable on the gank. So this all makes sense to us. Everything we talked about.
Absolutely. Oh, I have one question.
Yeah.
Though,
what's up?
and it's really probably quite dumb. My question is, why does it count as? Oh my god, I can't word this properly. Why
Happens to me all the
is it
time.
considered a blue side slow push when I have more minions?
That's
Because
a great
surely
question.
If I have more minions,
Yeah, that's a great
mine
question.
killed theirs first.
So there are 2 reasons. There's something called the reinforcement bonus, and then there's also minion bunching. So look at the HP bars on the red minions here. Do you notice anything about the HP bars on our minions? They're all full except for 1.
Low. Yes.
Right? So right now, for some reason, only 1 minion is taking damage. Why? Right? It's because of the minion bunching. So let me go back a little bit. You see how
like
when the
aggro
wave walks
system.
in, it's in a straight line, right? Now, because my wave is here, these minions are going to start to bunch up here, right? So if we watch the blue minions, they're not in a straight line anymore, right? It's like a T or something, right? They're grouping up like this, and then the rest of the minions are in a straight line. So what this does is when the wave is in a straight line, what happens when the wave is in neutral, like let's go all the way back actually, and we can see exactly what it looks like when the wave walks in, level 1. This is what happens when the waves meet and they're in a straight line, right?
I think Kaisa draws their aggro.
Yeah, it's gonna. So look.
Different game.
This minion is aggroing onto this one, right? These are gonna hit each other. Now this minion has to go around, right? So instead of this minion just hitting this one automatically, it's gonna go around and then it's gonna look for a new target, right? So if we watch the HP bars of our minions, you can see all of them have taken damage now. Do you see this? But when we go forward back to this other time over here, only one minion takes damage. This one, right? And it's because these minions are bunched up, they don't like go around and then look for a new target. They just see, ooh, target. And all of them are gonna, like literally every single one of our minions right now, except for this one, which is hitting Kaisa, all of the other minions right now are aggroed onto this specific creep. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna mean like the red creep will die this red creep is gonna die really fast because it's getting targeted by everything at the same time. Then the next red creep will die really fast, faster than we kill the blue creeps because our damage is spread out, but their damage is focused on one. And then over time, this effect, the minion bunching, will force the wave to push into us because over like, you know, a long period of time, they're killing the minions a little bit faster, which means that this minion does more damage before it dies, which means they kill this one faster, which means this minion does more damage. And it's like a domino effect, right? Until eventually all of these like small wins from the minions result in the fact that it'll push into us really hard. So
it's blown my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy. Minions are crazy. So that's why, like, ideally, we just didn't kill this creep, right? Kaisa kills this creep. Ideally, we just don't kill this one. Or if we are going to kill this one, we kill the whole wave, right? We just, like, recrash the whole thing. Yeah, but even though they have more minions, the bunching is too OP. It trumps one minion. The bunching trumps one minion. It's more OP than one minion here. So this wave will push into us. The next thing that I want to talk about is this reinforcement bonus. So basically the idea is not this wave. It doesn't matter on this wave, but the next one, right? So the wave is here, which means like if we draw a line from the nexuses to here, right? This one versus this one, you can see this line is longer, right?
Yeah, they arrive earlier.
Now if it's in the center, then they'll get here at the same time. But if it's on this side, these minions are going to be here hitting mine and dealing damage before my minions get in range. So basically my wave, not only is it getting bunched and they're all going to target it, so it's going to be good, but also the enemy minion wave, because it's on their side, right, is going to get here way earlier, and they're going to be 2v1ing my wave before my wave gets here. Right? So their reinforcements get here faster. The reinforcement bonus and the minion bunching. That's what causes waves to push into us. So let's say, for example, no one is here, right? No one does anything to the wave for the rest of forever. Everybody's just gone and we're just going to watch the minions. What will happen? This wave will slow push. Then the next one will get stuck over here. It'll crash. And then the next wave will meet like somewhere over here. Now our minions are bunched and we have the reinforcement bonus. So the same thing is going to happen, right? It'll push slowly into us until it crashes. Then it will push slowly back this way. And that's why the waves behave the way they do in League of Legends, where they just bounce into each other over and over again, right? It's a cycle where the waves will just continue. When it crashes into us, it bounces into them. When we crash into them, it bounces into us.
This whole time, I thought you could tell who was pushing into who, purely based upon, do I have more minions than them? So, understanding bunching
and that is important, right? That's the only
other
other factor here. It's these two, and then the... So, have you ever heard someone say pull the wave? Have you ever heard that before?
Yes.
So what we're doing when we're pulling the wave
that they go in
is we're bunching the minions, right? Like if I say the wave is coming out and I wanted to pull it, what I'll do is I'll walk out and I'll aggro all of the creeps onto me, then this wave will get bunched up. I walk into this bush, they drop aggro, they walk forward. The enemy wave isn't, my wave is in a straight line. So now all of these minions are all going to aggro onto this first creep. And I can induce the wave to push into me by pulling it, basically. And that's because I'm bunching the minions. And it'll be on their side, but like the bunching is the more important one. The minion bunching is the more important one. Because reinforcement bonus won't do anything until this next wave gets here, right? It doesn't work until the first wave reinforces. Okay, so we talked a lot about wave manipulation. I think this is just good, even though it doesn't apply super well to this situation. I think it's just good for us to sort of have
so much.
Yeah, just have a common understanding of the wave state, right? All right, so let's just kind of see what happens here. So we're pushing. This is wave 3. We want to recrash this one. Awesome. We have our ward. Extra awesome. I'm a little bit concerned about Vi gank, but again, enemy is Kayle ADC and she has 1 HP. I think that it's just a bit cooked for them in general. Even if Vi is here.
Fail. I think I have to try and kill her.
Oh, nice. Cool. We kill her.
Oh, we do get her, but I burned my flash for nothing.
I would just push this next wave too. It's fine
I'm
because
still
look,
panicking about Vi.
yeah. I think the reality is we're scared of Vi, which makes sense because our jungler's topside, but like there's no one to follow Vi up. There's a Senna and no Kayle. So because of that, I think we could just push this wave, make Kayle lose all these minions, these red minions.
Push that wave, and now I feel really bad because she was pinging like push.
The thing is, like, it's a little awkward because you have no mana, so you can't really contribute to the push very much. So it's not like it's not like 100% of the time in every single situation that happens, pushing the wave is better. Sometimes it could be worse. I just think in this instance, it's more often going to be good than bad. But also what we need to understand is like, so what do you think is going to happen with this wave based on what we talked about earlier? Do you have any idea of what's going to happen here?
It looks frozen, but my guy has like slightly more HP than the first guy in the front. It's like both. No, actually, I've just realized what's going to happen. So their casters are shooting as well. My casters haven't even arrived yet. So my melees are going to die first, and it's going to slow push back to us, I think.
Yes, exactly. This wave is going to slow push into you. One, because of the minion bunching. Now, this is a little bit scuffed because our wave bunched as well. You can see only one blue minion is taking damage, right? But the minion, you know, their minions are bunched. And then you're right about the casters are still getting in range. So that's going to help. But also the reinforcement bonus, right? By the time the next wave comes, it'll help push into us. So this wave pushes into us, which means that Kayle is going to like lose minions, basically, right? And then maybe when we walk back into the lane, if they don't push it fast enough, it could be frozen on our side, which makes it really awkward for them, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that the wave state is actually fine. It's not bad. It's just that Kayle loses slightly more if we crash this before we base. Because if we crash this before we base and Kayle doesn't have TP, she loses the whole wave. But if we don't crash this and it just pushes into us, Kayle will lose 3 minions. So just lose these melees. And then either way, because Kayle has TP, honestly, because Kayle has TP, basing might actually be better. Basing right away, what you did might actually just be better because she has TP. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to see like exactly how it played out to be sure. But you can see like we're killing more minions. It looks like the wave is on their side because they have 2 casters and I have 3. But the reinforcement bonus, right? My wave is still walking. Their wave is already here. So now also Kayle hits this. And then now look, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 versus 6. So it's guaranteed to push into me, but also not only is it 8, theirs are bunched and mine is in a straight line. So this is going to push into me really hard now, like very fast, because they have extra minions and they're bunched at the same time. So if we just like watch this wave, even if Kayle isn't hitting this, this is going to crash in on this wave right now. Right?
Yeah, there it goes. Starts walking.
And then look, now it's stuck here. It's frozen
and
here.
we're the perfect spot.
Yep, it's exactly what you want. Now, obviously, in the war of attrition, we don't really want to hold freezes. And the reason why is that if the enemy breaks the freeze, they get to go back home. They get to go base. And then in the war of attrition, generally, we want to like make them lose something when they base. So we want to be the one pushing them in instead. But a freeze is like a nice tool in the war of attrition for like a recall. Like exactly what happened here. We're like, oh, we can't get the wave in time. wave is coming into me, I'll just base. Then when I come back, the wave is frozen. I let it stay frozen for like one wave so they lose some minions. I clear it, and then I'm just going to start playing the wave in neutral again, right? So it's not something like a freeze is a tool that I use to deny a few in the War of Attrition. I'm only using it for two reasons. One is I'm worried that they're going to kill me. So like Vi is bot side and my jungler is top. Okay, I'll hold the freeze. Right? And then maybe holding freeze means Kayle is going to get out of jail for free, but it's a risk that I'm willing to take because I don't want to die to Vi or whatever. Not saying that was the right decision here. I'm just saying like that is a thought process we can have. We'll hold a freeze to diminish
it's like
the enemy's
threat. Pause on things. Thinking about it.
Not that we want to freeze forever. We're just like, okay, I'll freeze for 1 or 2 waves when Vi is here, and then once I'm confident Vi is gone, I'm going to start playing the game again. Right? Yeah. And then the other thing that we can do with the freeze is use it to as like a basing tool, right? So kind of what we did here. I need to recall, but I can't get the wave in fast enough. Kayle is going to come back and then push this into me. Now the wave will be frozen, and like I can just hold this freeze here and then collect, because I'm going to collect a bunch of minions. I can let it crash into my tower, kill all the minions. Then the next wave will reset into neutral and I can start playing the game again. So either way, if we're freezing in the War of Attrition, it's not something that we're looking to do for multiple waves, right? It's something that we're going to do like 1 or 2 waves max, and then we're going to go back to playing our game. And it's like a tool that we use. It's not like our overall strategy. Now, if this was Pyke or Nautilus or Rel, any of those champions that like have to kill you or they get outscaled, Pantheon support, Silas support, any of those kind of champions, there's like feast or famine champions, then we want to hold the freeze more often, right? But we're using this freeze because in this matchup against an engager, we don't really want to play the War of Attrition unless they get low. If they're full health, then we just want to diminish their threat on us and not die. And the best way to do that is to just hold the freeze outside of our tower, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we're talking a lot about wave management this game, I think let's just take a little bit of a look at like the game itself. All right, I like this. Our E is just a little bit too slow, but the idea of like following up your guys' CC with your E is pretty good. I think the reality of this is also just like, you know, your Kaisa was really far away, so this is kind of 2v3 when it starts, which is less than ideal. But the nice part about this is that Kayle is actually a melee minion, so they can't really do anything even though Kayle is here. If this is a real ADC, Briar might just be dead. All right, cool. Go back to playing our wave.
I agreed here. And
yeah, walking in was just bad. Like, cut it here. Super fine. Walk back, play our wave.
My Briar's here, my Kaisa's here, but it was just
walking in. If they didn't have this pink, then maybe you can try. But also, as Velkoz, you have to be really careful, like doing aggressive shit if your E is on cooldown, right? Or just your spells in general. Like, if your spells are on cooldown, it is not the time to run at the enemy in a straight line, generally, right?
Yep. It was like full ego moment, and then as soon as I did it, I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm injecting volatility for nothing.
So,
again,
but it ends up working out, and again, I think if this is a normal ADC, you're just dead. The only reason you don't die here is because this is Kayle. We end up killing the Senna. Awesome. You could see they're just bleeding minions right now, right? This wave is just dying to the freeze. And then the enemy minions aren't dying because there's so many of them, right? They're killing my wave so much faster. My wave doesn't have a lot of time to actually like deal meaningful damage. So we can see 1 blue creep died right here, but far more red creeps are going to die than blue creeps here. So it benefits us to hold this freeze, at least temporarily, right?
Yeah. I think we actually do, which I'm pretty happy about.
So I'm down to hold this freeze for 1 more wave, maybe. This would be, but then like the problem is we need to base. So you have to figure out a timer to base. If this was me, what I would do is I'm gonna not W the wave like you did. I would ping my Kaisa off of hitting this so much, and then I'm just gonna kind of like make sure this next wave freezes. I'll maybe even use my HP bar to tank it, like kind of like you did here, right? Just don't walk back though. Literally stand still right here, because I don't want the wave to shift up, because I don't want my cannons, my melees to crash. I want it to be a little bit far out, so that Kaisa can hold it. The other thing is, so like the tower range is right here. Why can't my melee be like right here? Isn't that fine? The problem is if your melee kills the melee, then it's going to look for a new target, which is a range creep back here, and it will shift forward into the tower range and then die. So if we want to hold the freeze meaningfully, we actually want it to be more on like this line back here. So we have a little bit of like a buffer for if these melees shift forward after killing something. So what I would do, I would literally like walk right here, and I'm just going to stand still until my next wave gets here. I'll hold the freeze, and then once the freeze is held, I'll ping my ADC to hold the freeze, and then I will walk down into this bush and just base and then come back. So I'm doing two things. One is I'm putting the wave in a position where the enemy is just going to lose shit and my ADC gets to collect everything. So me basing doesn't matter, right? Like if the wave was frozen on their side and then I'm basing, it's really bad because Kaisa has to play 1v2 until I get back, right? But because the wave is frozen on my side, Kaisa is really safe to catch shit, even though I have to take a bad recall right now because I fucked up. Kaisa is, so I'm like buying time for my Kaisa by holding this freeze basically, because obviously Kaisa doesn't want to play the lane 1v2 while you're gone and you have to leave. You can't stay from this HP and mana, right? So hold the freeze, use it as a recall tool. Remember earlier I told you there's 2 times we use it to diminish threat or as a recall tool. So here I'm using the freeze as a recall tool. I want to reset my HP and my mana. I will hold it here. I'll walk into this bush and then just recall and then I'll sprint back bot. We ruin the freeze with this W. That's the problem. The W does too much damage, and then now these minions aren't healthy enough.
Reset. I don't know why I thought that though.
So if our other option
recall, but no.
is to one-shot this wave, right? So you could have just thinned this one, kind of like you did, hold 2 Ws, and then when this next wave comes in, W through the wave twice, clear it with Kaisa, and then try to clean crash. This is just worse than the other option. I think our other option is just way better. Just hold the freeze, you base, you come back. The wave will still be frozen when you get back. The enemy is bleeding a ton of golden XP. You walk back in the lane, you're full HP, full mana. You buy like Amped Tome or whatever when you're in base, Ruby Crystal or Sapphire Crystal, whatever, right? I don't really care what it is, but we buy something, we're full HP, full mana, we come back, and then now we can just play. And then from here, it's a little awkward, right? Because even though we're so much stronger than them, like resources, right? I have to play so much better than Senna now to push these guys out of lane because Senna just has twice as much HP and mana to work with than I do. Yep, and then Senna just like walks up and trades on you like a psychopath, which is only allowed because of your HP. If you're full HP, full mana, you could just like run at her and fight her to the death here, right? So our HP and mana is making this kind of awkward. Kaisa gets chunked now too. Now we really need to crash this wave and just go home. I really just want to leave. We delay this base too much. Kaisa fucks around too much. Like, once the wave is in, right now, it's over now. No more fucking around. Wave is in. I'm going home. No dancing, no wiggling, no spell usage, just base. So it's not terrible, right? But, yeah. And then look at what's going to happen now. Like, this is all because we didn't base when we were supposed to, by the way, that this happens. Yeah, now we're going to lose minions.
That we could have denied.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's double. These are minions that we could deny from them, but also we are getting denied minions. You saw just a blue creep just died right there, right? And then they're going to crash this wave. Another blue creep just died. 3 creeps we lost that we shouldn't have lost for this, right? And then also, you know, who knows? Maybe we just kill them here or something if we hadn't done this. And then now my Kaisa comes back to lane. She gets chunked to half HP trying to hold the wave. And then now I just need to base again because I don't want to play the War of Attrition out with a half HP Kaisa, right? So then now I'm losing another timer to play the game because this is my neutral wave. This is where I want to play the game, but Kaisa's gone, right? And then now Kayle is catching XP, and we really want to punish Kayle before she hits 6 as much as possible because she's a melee champ, right? But we're kind of like gifting Kayle free experience. And it's all a snowball effect of you not recalling on that one wave. It just snowballed off of that. Yeah. And it's not like, this is not like a game losing thing, right? Like, it's not even really a mistake, quote unquote, because it's not like but what it is like lost opportunities. That's what's happening here, right? We're losing opportunities. We're not losing the game from this, but maybe we're losing our chance to win. Like, we could just make it, we could win this lane so hard that it does not matter what is happening up here. Katarina could literally be like 10-0 and they can't play the game because they're just so incredibly fucked in the bot lane and like they just can't play. And that's how I want to be. But every single, like, ideally, you know, obviously shit happens. We're not going to be able to play perfectly every game. But the ideal situation is I want these guys, like, terrified to even step in the same lane as you the entire game. Like, they're begging for their jungler to come bot and save them because they just cannot lane against you. They cannot play. They're bleeding minions constantly. Every time they base, you crash the wave and they lose even more. They're just, like, going down tons of experience. They can never gank you because you have perfect ward set up and you're, like, slow pushing your waves properly. Like, that's the goal. That's what we want to get to, right?
It's so funny. I thought the mid game was going to be important in this game, but you've completely like opened my eyes on how much better we could have played this. Again, I think if
And-
they had picked anything like an actual ADC, we probably would have lost this.
Yeah, or I think it would be like you'd be even or something, right? Like if you did this thing and they had a real ADC, it probably would have been bad.
It would be
where you fought, but like and I want you to understand that the result of the game, like you can win a lane playing bad and you can lose a lane playing well, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to understand, like, try, obviously, you know, make assumptions about the game, be curious, we love that, but I don't want you to be like, ever be like, oh, early game like you're gonna review your own game and you're like, oh, we won the lane, so it's not worth looking at my early lane this game because we won so hard. Like there's even if you're like shitting on these guys, killing them over and over again, there's always something you could be doing better, at least like a little thing, right? Even like challenger players, an auto here, a click here, you know what I mean? Like there's little things that you could be doing better at the highest level, always.
Yeah. I thought there was going to be no learnings from bot because of the pick of Kayle. But now that you've explained
but it's like quite the opposite. It's like this guy can't play because he's a melee. So so this is like the best war of attrition lane we could possibly get playing against Kayle ADC. So we need to, it's like a great example of how can I punish someone as much as physically possible in a game? How can I make Kayle like completely miserable being an entire level down? And like she is a whole level down. She is miserable, but it could be even worse. It could be so much worse than it is right now, right? It could be way, way, way worse. And then these guys are just like to the point where sometimes I'll have games like this where it gets so bad that my ADC just lanes against them 1v2 and beats them. They literally like can't play against my ADC 1v2 because she's so strong, and then I just get to roam the map forever, and the enemy team is playing like 4v5 or whatever, or like 4 versus 3 because their bot lane is just getting 1v2'd by Kaisa down there.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll look at a little bit more. The thing is, we talk so much about wave states and shit. I really don't want to go into mid to late fundamentals at all. So once we get to mid to late, I'm just going to cut it, I think. So she's smashing this. This is our slope. This is our last hit punish wave, right? So even if your ADC doesn't listen to you when you do it, I would prefer if like when your ADC is just randomly hitting the wave and you want it to be in the middle and punish last hits, just try to communicate that to her, right? Ace calm wave states, even if ADC hasn't listened to you a few times already. It's just a good habit to have, to do it every single time. And then, you know, maybe she listens to you. And then if she doesn't, totally fine. We shouldn't get tilted though. Like I do, I will tell you, I'm a bit of a hypocrite here because it's hard to never be tilted when this guy's just doing the wrong thing and not listening to you. But ideally, you know, acknowledge best play, communicate, and then embrace reality. That's what we want to do.
And then embrace, yes.
Yep. And then, you know, you can be annoyed at this guy in your head, but just don't let that affect your decision making, right? Like just make the best decision in the moment based on the information that you have. So yeah, this is just our slow push wave, and then we are punishing the last hits. It's just we can't, like, this minion it should never be, Kayle should never be allowed to get this ever. And she's allowed because Kaisa is pushing the wave, right? But also Kaisa is taking significantly more damage than she should because we're pushing the wave like this. So it's less punishing to the enemy and more risky for us doing this shit. All right, now we need to base again. You can kind of just try to stay and fuck with them. I think you don't have ulti, so it's hard. I would try to hold this wave with my body. I don't even want to kill this minion. I just want to hold the freeze. Again, it's like a recall tool. My Kaisa recalled. I will hold the freeze so that she doesn't lose as many minions. And now if Kayle bases right now, if Kayle stays, then I probably just kill her when Kaisa gets here. If Kayle bases, then she just bases on the freeze and she loses the whole wave. She just loses 6 creeps. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So recall tool here. We do end up pulling it, but like we pull it and then we kill the we killed the minions with our W, and then we killed the cannon from half HP with the stack. Like let it go to 1 HP, then kill it at 1 health, right? And then they'll actually lose all these minions. But now you can see it's just 6 versus 6, but we have the bunching and they don't. So actually this pushes into them now. It's not a freeze. It's a slow push into them because we hit the wave too much, right? So now we just need to base. And then if we were going to do this, obviously the freeze is just better. You could see because we had one more minion than them, it is like a little scuffed, kind of how I told you the last one was going to be scuffed over here. But even though it's scuffed, the reinforcement bonus is going to make it push into them. So that's what's about to happen right here. See, reinforcement bonus. They lost 5 creeps still, which is pretty good. Typically, they only lose 3 on a slow push. So you know, the wave was better than it's better than average here. I want to say better than average, but could be better still. She could lose a whole wave for this, right?
Yeah.
Instead. And then obviously 1 minion doesn't seem like a big deal, but maybe like you fight Kayle later and then she levels up and then kills you or lives because she leveled up. When she missed this 1 more minion, then you know it can, like 1 minion worth of XP can have a huge snowball lead in a game. And then this is another analogy that I wanted that I've told other players before. Honestly, I'll look at this last fight after we talk about this and then we'll call it. But what we're doing right now with this like wave management thing, I like to call it like the toolbox, right? So like the freezing as a way to diminish threat, that's a tool. The freezing as a recall tool, right? That's a tool that we're adding to our toolbox. And the way that we get better in this game and we like add things is, you know, right now maybe you have like 2 tools. And then one of these tools, if I do it perfectly every single time, it might win me 1 out of 100 games. So say like right now, your first 3 waves, understanding the first 3 waves, your level 2 spike, like understanding the first 2 waves is a thing. Level 2 spike is a tool. Warding after the second wave is a tool, right? So maybe if we do all of these things perfectly every single time, we might win. Each of these tools might get us like 1 win out of 100 games, right? But the thing that is so OP about adding these tools into your toolbox is that they're multiplicative, like they add on to each other, right? So I might play the first 2 waves well, then I ward properly, which lets me kill the enemy jungler. Then because the enemy jungler is dead, I get to hold a freeze. Then holding the freeze lets me do this. And then somehow like all of these tools have combined together into me punishing the enemy so hard they lose like 3 waves and now they can't play the game and it's just over and we just win, right? So I want you to understand, like, what we're trying to do is add a bunch of these, like, small things up. And then even though it doesn't feel like we're going to be winning a whole game off of this wave management shit, if we do this perfectly every single time, we will win more games. But also, like, as we add more and more tools, this gets significantly more OP because the tools build off of each other, right? They're multiplicative as we get better. All right, so what tools did we talk about today? First 2 waves. Level 2 spike, early ward, ideally on second wave.
Yep.
But remember, we talked about it doesn't have to be on second wave every game, depending on where the enemy jungler starts, if we know. Yep. Then we talked about like why does the wave push into me on their side? And then what we also talked about, like, what's the difference between a freeze and a slow push into me?
Yep.
We talked about using freezes to deny enemy threat, using freezes as a recall tool. And I'll put temporary. Because we never really want to hold those freezes for like multiple waves. Like 2 or 3 waves, fine sometimes. 5 waves, never. Like very, very rarely are you ever going to hold the wave for 5 waves in a row in a war of attrition matchup, right? We just want to push them in. The only time you would ever do it is if your jungler is like hard camping bot side and the enemy like is really weak and can't play and you just want to set up gank or something. But okay, and then. Did we talk about anything else today?
I think those are the big ones.
Yeah, I think this is it, right? So this is what we're going to talk. I want you to get from today. And then I also want you to understand that none of this shit is like, just do this every time. Like this, do this shit every time, every game, no matter what, right? You could just do this every time, every game. This stuff is more reliant on the situation. So, like, I don't want you to just hold the freeze all the time randomly for no reason, right? Like, if we're holding the freeze, it should be for one of these reasons. Otherwise, I want you to just default to the, like, pushing, punishing last hits, Oh yeah, ace communicate wave states to your ADC. Okay, so if I had to give you a learning objective, quote unquote, because I think we did a lot of like learning today, but none of it was super actionable, as in just do this every game, right?
Yeah.
If I were to give you something,
opportunities to try it.
Yeah. So if I were to give you something to say like just do this every game, make this your learning objective, I want us to be focused every single time. I want the wave to be slow pushed and my ADC pushes it fast, ping her back, right? Just try to communicate what wave state you want to your ADC at all times. And you did it some in this game, right? I just don't want you to give up after Kaisa does it. Now, if it's literally like 15 waves in a row, at a certain point, there's no point in pinging her anymore, right? But I want to give at least like 3-4 good tries before I give up on her, right? So this is going to be something that we can do every single game, and I think you would do good at spending some time focusing on it. Now, I don't want you to focus so hard on this that we lose on this. This is the important shit right now. First 3 waves blueprint. First 3 waves. This is your learning objective. Play the first 3 waves and then communicate wave states after, in general, but specifically what I'm talking about is after these first 3 waves. We need to communicate the wave states to our ADC, whatever we want. If we want to freeze, communicate the freeze. If we want to slow push, communicate the slow push. Yeah, and then all this other stuff is just like we're adding tools, right? Now the tool isn't going to be all the way added in yet. It's not perfect, and that's fine. So what I am going to give you for your homework, obviously do these and then review this in your games. If you have a problem with this, like you try to do something that I told you to do and it doesn't work and you don't know why, bring it to me. First of all, that's going to be like good learning for you. If we try to do something and then, we manage the wave and then we die to the gank, or we ward on the second wave and the jungler's in there and I die, like, anything like that. Something I told you to do and you try to do it and you feel like it should have worked and it didn't, bring it to me. But then my other homework that I want to give you is like this stuff, right? Like if you freeze to deny the enemy and you're not sure if it was good or not, bring it to me and we can talk about it, right? If you use your freeze as a recall tool, if you use your freezes to deny the enemy threat, if I try to ward on the second wave and it doesn't work. So that's going to be my homework for you. If something like this happens and it goes wrong and you don't know what happened, you don't know why, bring it to me and we'll figure it out. Because if you do something perfectly the way I told you and it goes bad, generally it means that there's like something that went wrong, right? Either you did something wrong or like like in this game, your jungler is like pathing away from you, so you have to play differently, or enemy mid laner is like 10-0 Katarina, so we have to play differently, right? There's going to be some variable most likely. So cool. So I think that's good for me. Do you have any questions for me about this game?
I do, just one, and hopefully it won't take you too long to answer. So how there's like the kind of standard wave management blueprint that can, I think, I can't remember if it was yourself or Cupcake said that generally a good rule of thumb is for each, like every second wave, it's like you slow push one, hard shove the next, slow push one, hard shove the next. Something that I found myself struggling with is when my eyes are so focused on landing my Velkoz cues, I have lost track of what wave we're on, because I've been counting them to kind of remind myself on which one I'm shoving and which one I'm freezing. My question to you is there a way I can like look at the wave and identify without having to count what wave we're on?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you some crazy information here.
Okay.
The 2-wave
After the
cycle,
third wave, I lose count every time.
The 2-wave cycle is a little bit fake. It's a little bit fake. The way I explain it to you that way, where like slow push the first one, hard push the second one, that's what we do when it's in a perfect state, right? Like if my wave is perfect and wrapped up in a nice little bow and I can deny my 3 minions and then I crash and then the next wave meets back in the middle and I can do it again. The reality is like, shit isn't perfect all the time in this game. They will hit my wave. It'll start pushing from over here instead of right in the middle, or my wave gets stuck outside of the tower, or I get ganked and then it fucks shit up, right? So let's talk about like what the actual reality is. No more thinking about the 2-wave cycle. Like when do I push slow and when do I push fast? Let's just think about that for a second. So I push slow because I want the minions to die in the center of the lane, right? How do minions die in the center of the lane? It's when the waves are going to be dealing equal amounts of damage to each other, right? So the reason that I crash is because I deny these minions, my reinforcement bonus, my minion bunching will make the wave push into them. So I'm going to crash because the waves aren't even anymore, right? So let's say that my wave is in neutral, but I have no range creeps. So I have like a cannon and 3 melees, and then they have a whole wave. Now, if I don't hit it, it will push into me and freeze, right? But that's not what I want in the War of Attrition. So what I would want to do in this case, say we have 4 minions and they have 4 to 7, and it's in neutral, and I want to play this wave, then I would kill 3 of these minions, right? I would make it even. Yeah. And then now that it's even, this is my slow push wave. So I'll let it be even. I'll let the minions kill each other. The next wave will come, and then now I have the reinforcement bonus. I have the bunching. So I can't if I just hold this wave here, not very many minions of mine will die, right? Because I have more minions than them. I have the reinforcement bonus, the bunching. So if I leave this wave alone, I'm not going to be able to deny very many minions, right? So when do I push? It's when I want to play the War of Attrition and then I have more minions than them. So like right now, for example, right? Let's look at this. Right now, this is like a neutral state, or like it was, right? So let's see. Like, because this is something that can happen in your game. This is my neutral wave. I want to play this one, right? But then what happens? Kaisa hits it too much. So now, because she hits it too much, if I let it meet in the middle, my minions that I want to die aren't actually going to die. Because these minions will die. My minions take less damage because these minions die fast. And then now my wave is cooked, right? So once Kaisa hits this a little bit, my wave isn't even anymore. So because it's not even, I just want to recrash it, right? And then if this wave was even, then so that's how we can figure it out. If our 2-wave cycle, if waves are even minions or close, even HP, let's say, right? Or close in HP, play it in neutral and deny last hits. If my wave is bigger than theirs, or bunching / on my side, because if it's on your side, then you're gonna have the reinforcement bonus, right? I'll push it fast to get it back into neutral on the next wave, right? So if we're looking at the wave, and then you're like, you lost track of the 2-wave cycle, you're not sure which wave you're on and you can't figure it out, just look at the minions. Oh, my wave is even? I'm going to slow push this one. Oh, I have more minions than them? I'm going to hard push this one and get the next one into neutral, right? And then generally, like a difference of 1 minion doesn't matter so much. Like if you have 7 and they have 6, it's kind of fine. If you have 5 and they have 4, it's kind of fine. But if I have 7 and they have 4, I have to crash this. If I have 7 and they have 5, I have to crash this, right? It's too much. I'm not going to be able to deny what I want to deny.
Fantastic. That was so informative.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. Any other questions for me?
That was everything.
Awesome. All right. I will send you this and then I'll upload the VOD later as well. It was a pleasure, gamer.
Lovely.
Oh, sorry. Before I go.
Thank you so much, Greg.
No problem. Any other questions from anybody else, by the way, guys? Or are we good? I need to start asking this more. I always forget. What didn't you know, Yvonne?
Oh, Yvonne is typing.